Hi everyone, it's Jenny with Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House. You can always find us on YouTube and Instagram at Joey143Jenny. And you can also hang out with us on our Facebook at Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House. So today I had someone ask me how I do my ruffles, and I do ruffles in so many different ways. So I thought I would just turn the camera on and show you a few ways that I do ruffles. And I do some the same for paper and fabric, and I do some things that are different. So I'll just show you just different ways that I do it. So what I do is anytime I have like cutoffs from, either, just regular paper, digitals, or from scrapbook paper, the branding strip, I will save those. Here's some examples of that. I'll save those branding strips and I'll use those for different things, but one of the things I use them for is to just make little ruffles for scrapbooking. That one, maybe, it might be a little thick. So let me show you a couple of those real quick that I do. And one thing I like about using it this way, you don't have to do it this way, but one thing I do like about this is that when you then glue into your journal, you have a nice, you're not gluing just the ruffle. You actually have a nice little backing to do it with. And actually this will all pretty much hide because you're going to glue one side down to the journal and you're going to glue the other side down to the ruffle. So it usually works out pretty well to where you just, you can't really see it too much, if at all. If you are concerned about seeing it, then what you can do is, if you want to use this method, then what you can do is do a coordinating or a matching paper for your ruffle. Okay, so what I do is I get kind of a thin paper. You can also use like your coffee dyed or tea dyed, and I put a strip of glue not down the center because I am gonna, you don't have to sew, but I am gonna sew these. And so I'm gonna sew right down the middle. So what I'll do is I'll just put a little piece of paper there right past the tip, but make sure I kind of straddle it. And then most of my ruffles are very messy. And so then I'll just, begin squishing the ruffle in like that. Okay. Like that. All right. And basically that's it. So I just squish it in, pinch and squish it like that. This goes fairly fast if you're doing something else, like if you're watching TV or you have a long phone conversation and you want to do some of these. I've done that before. Okay, so as you can see that it's very messy. I honestly don't mind that. I don't mind that. If you want, you can use your bone folder and you can squish them down even more. I like that messy look. Okay, and then you can just carry on. So again, I'm going to put it not down the middle, but just a little ways over. Might hear Joey's outside working on something. I think I put that one on the outside since it has a little bit of tear. I can hear him out my window. He must be talking to... Sometimes our neighbors are pretty far away, but sometimes they'll take a walk. He may be talking to them or on the phone. Or we live on an old farm road, which is a really nice farm road. It's very shady in parts, and it's just beautiful. And a lot of times we'll get a lot of bicyclists come through, and that's always fun. So you could continue in whatever color you're doing for your, whatever your journal is. I'm just kind of doing different colors here. You could make it very methodical if you want, like you could just weave it, and I'll show you that is the next one I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, one second. Ah! I'm running out. Let me just put a little more glue here. Make sure I get that down. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut it off here. You could just continue to extend, kind of like what you do. Well, maybe I'll just tear it. Kind of like what you do with a snippet roll. Okay. So there we have one. And then what I'll do is I'll sew down the middle. We'll get the sewing machine out here in a second. I'll sew down the middle, and then you can cut them apart as you use them, or cut them apart right away or whatever. Okay, so let's grab another one. I thought that one worked pretty well using this, and I have several of these, so we'll just keep that. So then what you could do is, before you even get started, you could go ahead and fold it, and this is just accordion style. What I like to do when I do that is I fold anything towards me, I fold wide, and anything away from me, I fold skinny. So I go wide, skinny, wide, skinny. And that way you're not using up, you know, more paper than you need to if you were to go wide, 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 wide. Because you're only going to see this top part anyway. So going towards me wide, going away skinny, wide, and then skinny, and you're just accordion folding that. Now you could just sew this as it is like this. You could just glue it down like this. I like to sew it. There we go. I'm going to give it a little press here. And then I'm going to go again just off center, just because I'm going to sew down the center. And I'm going to just press that right in the center. I got a little off here. That's all right. I'll cut that off. Okay. A little off center. That's all right though. Okay. What else do we have? And they don't have to be the same width. I kind of like everything to be a little bit wonky, you know, unless I'm trying to do something very, you know, something not pretty perfect. Sometimes when I'm doing something for somebody else, depending on the kind of journal, I'll be a little bit more particular, but for the most part, I like my journals to be a little bit more wonky. I just like the character of that. Okay, so there's another. Get it to where I can press it out. So I hope everybody's having a really good day. It's sunny again here today. We have not had rain in quite a while now, so I need to continue to go out and water. What are they? Hollyhocks are starting to bud. Not bud. What am I trying to say? Seed. They're poking up through the ground. Very excited about that. And I need to go out there and spread them, kind of spread them around because I've got them too close together, I think. Okay. So then you have that. And I think I'm just going to finish this off a little bit, and then we'll get to the fabric. I'm just going to do a little bit of that. Oh, I forgot to fold it. Okay. All right. Concentrating. Okay. All right. So now we have two of these, and I'm going to go ahead and sew those here in a second, but I wanted to show you fabric as well, and so I have all of these that I can play with later. Lots of scraps. I kind of go, you know, different widths for my ruffles because I'll tear them in small pieces to use as a tab, or I'll keep them long to use, you know, as a ruffle on the side of a page or something like that. All right, so now let's try some fabric. I do the same process as I did with the messy one. With the, well, they're both turned out messy, but I don't accordion. I'll show you that on the sewing machine here in a little bit. Okay, so I just put that down, and then I put it down, let it stick. Hopefully it'll stick. Sometimes you need a little bit more glue for the fabric, and you could use your Fabri-Tac, and I have used that. The only reason I'm not using it right now is because it just doesn't dry as quickly. It does a great job. It just doesn't dry as quickly. And I'm wanting to, you know, sew these here in a second. So, yeah, so all I'm doing is I'm just pinching it and squishing it into that glue. And the Fabri-Tac is tacky enough to where, you know, you just do a little bit. I imagine if you had really good control of a hot glue gun, you know, you could probably do this with your hot glue gun. I don't use a hot glue gun with my junk journals. Just preference. I probably would burn myself too much because I'm a quick grab type of, you know, I grab them all over the place. So, okay, so there's that. Just squishing it down. Okay, and then I'm going to sew down the center in a little bit. Here's another one. I'll just keep with the same color. You wouldn't have to, because again, you could use these to where you just cut them, you know, and just use it to where, you know, it's a tab, or you could cut it and use it on a pocket, or you could use it, you know, on the side of a page, which is, I love to do that. So, okay. All right. It does take more fabric to do this, you know. Generally, I ruffle twice as much fabric as I need, as the, like what I want to do with the paper. But on this one, where you're squishing it together, you probably even use a little bit more than that. All right, let me grab just another piece of fabric and finish this off. Try to get it. I didn't, you know, when I do these messy ones, I don't iron anything like that. I do iron my journal covers and stuff because it's hard to get the wrinkles out after you've made the journal cover. But for these things, because they're so messy anyways, I like it that way. I don't iron it. Okay. All right, I got it. Okay, and I'm gonna just cut that a little long just so it helps it to not unravel a little bit. All right, so then we have that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my sewing machine. I'm going to show you a couple of other ways to ruffle. Okay, get this out of the way here. Okay. Now I'm just using my little Singer, and I hope you can see this okay. I don't know, maybe if I tilt it a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right, so I am going to sew down the center of the ones that we made, but while those are drying, let me show you a couple of different ones, you know, different ways to do it as well. So you can do it on zigzag, you can do it on straight, you can do decorative. Just to start out, I'm going to show you on, I think that's a little wide. I'm going to show you on just straight. I'm going to cut that down a little bit. Tear it down a little bit. Okay, so this is very similar to what I did with the accordion. So I'm just going to put my needle down. Okay. Grab my foot here. Okay. And I'm going to sew through that. Okay. And then I'm just going to keep going like this. I'm going to just keep folding. I don't know. Let me see if I can put you a little closer. Okay. So once you get going, it's very fast. This makes a nice little, sweet, almost like a tuck ruffle. Okay. We'll finish this long piece. And this piece is uneven. I don't really care because what I'll usually do is cut them to different sizes anyways. I'll use, you know, I'll make several tabs out of this. I'll probably make a one thing to go across, maybe a pocket. I was thinking I might use some of these in my Joey Card Maker envelope journals that I'm making. I hope you can see how to do this. Okay. And I used brown thread because I thought maybe you'd be able to see it a little bit better. So there's our sweet little ruffle. Okay. So that's one. All right. I wonder what color might show. Let me see if I can find a nice long piece to show you. Here's somewhat of a long piece. I don't have a lot of long pieces. These are all from scraps, but okay. All right, here's another way. This is the way I traditionally do ruffles. Now, I don't know where I learned this. I don't know if it was from my grandmother. I don't know if they taught this in our sewing class. I don't know if I picked it up from sewing with other people. I'm not sure where I learned it. But I've been doing this since I was a kid. And that is to take a butter knife. Some people will use a fork. You could also use that little screwdriver that often comes inside your repair for your sewing machine. The only thing I just want to caution you about is just be very careful. You don't want to run over your knife. You don't want to get it up under your needle. So just, if you've never done this, go slow and to try it out, because you don't want to ruin your sewing machine. You don't want to, you know, injure anything, yourself included. So what I do is, as the sewing machine is going, I'm just tucking this under. Okay, so let's try. You can see it goes fairly quick. It's very uneven. I gotta stop because I pulled it out. I was putting it in and pulling it out at the same time. Okay. Oops, sorry, but it's kind of loud. All right, let's take a look at that. Again, it's going to be uneven, but it's super sweet. Let's do another one of those. They're super fun. Here's a nice long thin one in that green color. So I would sew not as fast as you normally do, but you can get a lot done in a short amount of time. I like how it kind of curls a little bit as you're sewing. Oh, and of course, you know, I don't have a ruffler, but you could definitely buy a ruffler. You could also do the gathering. You could, you know, do a gathering to where you baste down the center and then pull the, pull it to gather, you know, pull the bottom thread to gather it. You could do that. Okay. Oops. So this is probably one of my favorite ways to do it because it just gives it such a sweet little, you know, really roughly, but not super consistent. All right, so here's our paper, you may remember. And one thing that I have learned is when sewing it down, you don't want to start at the end where you're going to catch on all the opens. See how it opens? You want to flip it around so you're sewing everything down. And I think just for fun, I'm going to zigzag this. I'm going to make a little bit of a larger stitch than I normally would, just so that I don't perforate too much. And I'm going to go straight down the center because that's where my card is, and that's where I didn't glue. You can also feel it underneath with, you know, as I'm holding this with my thumb underneath, I can feel where that is. Okay, and now let's do this one. Now this one's a little crazy, so I just need to take it easy and just button it up against that one. Okay, and then this one, this is the one we sewed. Okay, and I'm going to butt it up against it too. Oopsie. You can see that this is poked up there. I don't want that card exposed underneath, so stop it just to lay that down. Okay. All right, now let me put this sewing machine down for a second here. And I'm gonna pull you back out just a little bit. Okay. All right, so here are our ruffles. Okay, let me go back in a little bit. Okay. There they are. There's our different ruffles. And that's a lot of fun, and it's super fast and easy to do. It's just really a lot. I don't know why ruffles are so much fun, but they are. And then, you know, like I said, you could, like, let's say you just wanted to do a tab on a page. You could just cut that right there and then just glue that on the side of a page. Do I have a journal handy? well, here's like my idea journal, one of my idea journals. Let's just glue it on the side. It's like where I write stuff, you know, down. Okay. And let's just glue that on the side. So again, what the great thing is now I have this reinforcement paper that I can use to glue. How cute is that? All right, let's flip a couple of pages and put another one down. Let's use one of these. Now this one doesn't have the backing. It's okay. Oops. Okay. Very sweet. All right, let's try a couple more. Here's the one that we did on the backing, and I can say for fabric I do like putting it on a backing. I just feel like it's a really nice reinforcement. You have that nice piece to glue it down. And if, you know, it pokes out, so like here, you can see a smidgy of it there. All I do is just cut that like a corner. Just kind of cut that off. Okay. And now let's do this one. Okay. Now look how fun. Isn't that fun? Have all those different kinds. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I hope that that encourages you, and for Karen and Donna that asked me how to do this. I appreciate you asking. It was a lot of fun, and I think I'll make some more. So I hope you are able to make some, and let me know how it goes. And if you need more help, just let me know. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you all have a really great day. And remember that we pray blessings over each of you every day. And we also want you to know that you are so loved. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is, or what day of the week it is, or what has happened today. You are always so, so loved. So with that, I hope everybody has a really great rest of the day, and let us know if there's anything you'd like to see. And thank you for subscribing and leaving a comment. We really appreciate it. All right, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.